If there's one thing the San Jose Sharks have done exceptionally well, it's build a group of extremely powerful young talent. I wanted to continue on my theme of rising stars, and my last video was about two Russians, so might as well do another video about a Russian. I know someone's waiting for a Salim Valenius video, and I this time double pinky promise it will be done probably tomorrow. Keep an eye out for it, but I did want to spend time talking about Igor Chernyshov. We did get to see some of him last season, not as much as we wanted to, but we did get to see some of him last season, and what we did see, we loved. And he is a big piece of this upcoming season and what's brewing for this season. And I can't wait to watch him. But before I get too into it, I just want to remind you guys that we're still on Twitter, and our handle is still at Sharks Digest, and we're still there to give you the latest news, trades, reports, and rumors about the San Jose Sharks. We can't always hop on a video, but we can always send out a tweet. Plus, it's just another way to talk to you guys, and we love doing that. So give us a follow and a shout at Sharks Digest on Twitter. Now, before Igor Chernyshov was 6'2", 195 pounds, and 20 years old, playing for the San Jose Sharks on the left wing, he was 15, turning 16 years old in Russia, playing for Dynamo Moscow's U17 team. I want to start with this year because he actually made a couple of level jumps this season. So for the U17 team, and honestly, thankfully, all these teams had the same name, but the U17 team, he was amazing. In 13 games played, little Igor Chernyshov had 23 points, 11 goals, 12 assists. So not really that surprising that he made the leap to the U18 team, because clearly he was too high of a level for the U17 team, needed higher competition. And he came to the U18 team, and it was the same thing. Are you ready for these stats? Because nothing can prepare you for how many points he had in 3 games. In 3 games for the U18s, he had 7 points, 4 goals, 3 assists, and he even played 3 games in the playoffs for them. But he still was not getting the high enough competition he needed, so he made yet another level jump. He this time jumped to the MHL, which is basically the Russian version of juniors. So in North America, we have USHL, CHL, OHL, OHL is part of the CHL, but yeah, we have those. But in Russia, they have the MHL, and he made the jump to that level because he, again, needed the higher competition. And in 18 games played, he wasted no time and had 11 points, 7 goals, 4 assists. He was great for them in the playoffs. In 6 games played, he had 5 goals in the playoffs. He was great. Again, 15, 16 years old, so at the end of the season, he was already 16. That's incredible stuff for a 16-year-old to be doing. And he also represented Russia in the international junior games. Different from World Juniors, not the same, but he did win bronze here, and so U17, and in 8 games played, he had 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists. He was great. So it's not surprising that he didn't go back to the U18 team the next year. He went back to the MHL. Still Dynamo Moscow, but he wore the A this season, and in 38 games, he had as many points. He had 38 points in 38 games played, 18 goals, 20 assists. Mind you, at the end of the season, he was only 17 years old, but the KHL caught wind of this, and KHL is the professional league in Russia, and they said, wow, let's get him to play a couple of games. So he played 5 games for Moscow in the KHL, and he even had a goal, and he again played for Russia in the international junior games at the U18 team this time. And this time, in 6 games played, he had 4 points, 3 goals, and an assist. And so, in the 23-24 season, this would be the season he would play before he got drafted, because he was 17, turning 18. He went back to the MHL, and he played 22 games and had 28 points in those 22 games. He had 13 goals and 15 assists. He played in the MHL All-Star game, and he was so good in the MHL that the KHL actually invited him to play in their All-Star game. They had imagine the NHL doing that. Imagine the NHL seeing a player in the OHL and saying, "Hey, I want you to play in our All-Star game. That's kind of crazy, but that's what happened. He did play in the KHL All-Star game while still playing for the MHL. However, he did play 34 games in the KHL this season. He only had 4 points, 3 goals, and an assist, but for someone his age, pretty solid. He even played 10 playoff games for them, and it was enough to get the attention of scouts and get people looking at him, because that summer, the summer of 2024, he was drafted 33rd overall by the San Jose Sharks behind Sam Dickinson and Macklin Celebrini. So, really good draft for the Sharks this year, but he decided that I've been drafted into the NHL. It's time to leave Russia and come to North America. So he joined the CHL, the Canadian Hockey League. He joined the OHL segment of the CHL for the Saginaw Spirit. And you know who his teammate / line mate was on the Saginaw Spirit this year in the 24-25 season? His captain that season, Michael Misa. He's a little out of focus here, but Michael Misa. Michael Misa was really, really good this season wearing the C. He had 134 points in 64 games played, but we're not talking about Misa right now. We're talking about Chernishov playing on Misa's wing. And that season, in 23 games played for Saginaw, he had 55 points. That's pretty damn incredible, especially for a kid coming over from Russia to North America. He had 19 goals, 36 assists, and was incredible for them in playoffs as well. In 5 games played, he had 6 points, 2 goals, 4 assists. So, because he was so good, he got the call from the CUDA, and he went and joined them for 2 games in the regular season where he had an assist, and he played a playoff game and made his mark in the playoffs as well, scoring a goal. So he was really great. And then this past season, he spent a lot of time with the CUDA. He spent most of the season there, 41 games played. Honestly, a lot of us for a very long time were saying, bring him up, bring him up, bring him up. We really, really wanted to see him. But in his 41 games played for the CUDA, he had 33 points, 13 goals, 20 assists. They didn't have a very long playoff run, but in his 2 games in playoffs, he did score a goal, which I mentioned this in my Misa video, but it's actually, Cagnoni video, but actually kind of impressive that he joined them for playoffs, considering he was actually playing for the Sharks like 2 days before. So, really great season for the CUDA from Chernishov, and then we did get to see him, thankfully, in a Sharks jersey, and it was so fun to watch him play in the Sharks jersey. He had 28 games played with 19 points, 9 goals, 10 assists. His last 5 games of the season, he had 5 points, 4 goals, and an assist. He was really, really great, even though we watched him, die within 8 seconds of coming back after the Olympic break. But after he recovered from said death, he came back pretty strong, and he was really fun to watch, especially playing on the wing of Macklin Celebrini. Mac himself has said that Chernishov is really fun to play with, and that he's so big and fast that it seems to make the opponents kind of panic. So, Macklin, being someone who used to be on the receiving end of a lot of physicality, is probably really grateful to be playing on a line with a guy like Chernishov, who not only seems to draw some physicality, but also give it. He's really quick, big guy, not slowed down by his size. His feet keep up with his hands, which is a really, really important thing here. But I mentioned we loved watching him play with Macklin Celebrini. However, that being said, I can't not talk about him. We have Igor Chernyshov coming in, and just a reminder of how amazing he was in 43 games played for Frölunda in the SHL, where he won a championship. He had 33 points, 11 goals, 22 assists. He was amazing, but we have him coming in. He could play both sides of the wing. I honestly wouldn't be that surprised if we did see a little bit of Igor Chernyshov playing on the Macklin Celebrini Will Smith line, just to help him get his footing a little bit. That top line would be really great support for him, but also Warsofsky has talked a lot about giving Mac the support he needs, and Stenberg is definitely someone who could give that. Not that Chernishov isn't, because he definitely is, but Stenberg is 18. He'll be 19 soon, but he's 18. Let's help him get his footing, make him as comfortable as possible. So probably going to be seeing Stenberg playing on the wing of Macklin Celebrini. However, that being said, I honestly really like the idea of Chernishov on that second line, just because the center of that second line is former Saginaw line mate Michael Misa. And Michael Misa was really good this past season for the Sharks. He had 45 games played and 21 points, 9 goals, 12 assists, and he said that we haven't even begun to see how good he is, and I fully believe it. So I think that Saginaw's former top producing line, top line, reunion there might be a good thing for the Sharks. Chernishov is a really great player altogether. He's really great with Celebrini, but he'd probably be really great reuniting with Misa again, especially as we help little Ivar Stenberg get his footing again in the professional league. He had his footing in the SHL, but he's never played in the NHL before, so let's make him as comfortable as possible. But there's a lot to look forward to. We're really building to something special here, that's for sure. And I really can't wait for it. Go Sharks.